Hello everyone, I'm Neelis90, and today I want to bring awareness to what is quite possibly the most obscure item in the game, and also one of the harder items to even obtain in Java Edition. And when I say hard to obtain, I mean more or less it's just really annoying, but it is definitely doable. Except in Bedrock Edition, it is 2 trillion times easier. So let's break it down. So, many of you probably don't even know what a tipped arrow is. So, behind me is a tipped arrow of harming. I chose this one because I'm going to be real here. Most of the tipped arrows in the game are kind of useless. So, for one, these are the effectless ones. They're just increative. You have night vision. Why would you want to give that to a mob? Invisibility, again, no point in giving it to a mob. Leaping, then you have fire resistance, etc. And on top of this, the real question is, even if you wanted to give them any of these effects, why not just hit them with a splash potion? Anyway, let's move on to how you actually craft this thing in Java Edition. So, firstly, you obviously need a brewing stand to make the potion. So, you got to go all the way to the nether. After that, you then got to figure out how to brew the potion you want to make. So, for a harming potion like the arrow behind me, you have to get a spider eye, nether wart, and a brewing stand to make a poison potion. Once you make that poison potion, you then have to add a fermented spider eye to make it harming potion. How do you make fermented spider eye? Well, it's quite simple. You got to get another spider eye, combine it with a brown mushroom and sugar, and then bam, you got a fermented spider eye. Now that you have this potion, you can just put it into your crafting menu and combine it with arrows, right? Nope. Well, what if you make it a splash potion? Nope. What you have to do is you have to go now all the way to the end. You have to bring glass bottles with you, and during the dragon fight, you have to wait for the dragon to perch and use its dragon breath attack and grab dragon's breath with the glass bottle. Now, with that being said, that is one of the most late game times in Minecraft. Some will argue that after you beat the Ender Dragon, there's a lot more to do, but realistically, the end is available early on if you know what you're doing, and also, all there really is in the End Islands is just a few more loot chests for diamonds and enchanted gear, which you're probably already going to have a good bit of, and an elytra. And seeing as you only need one, you're not going to be going back to the end very much. So now, let's actually go into the specifics of this. You have to then put your splash potion of whatever potion you created. You have to use the dragon's breath into the brewing stand, and then you will finally get 3 lingering potions of whatever arrow type you wanted to make. And now, the fun part. You now have to take that 1 lingering potion, surrounded by 8 arrows, to get 8 arrows of that type. So, if you've been following along, you should have 8 arrows of harming. Or 24, because you used all 3 potions. And I know what some of you are saying. That's it? Well, at least I can use my bow with infinity on it. Yeah, you can't. Trust me, I tested it. In fact, let me show you that. And now let's just shoot this thing. Yep, you can't even use infinity on this thing. So, you now have to refight the Ender Dragon just to get more arrows. Once you use these things, they're done. And here is the crazier part. Let's take this arrow and also give myself another one. Now, let's see the damage difference. Well, actually, let me take this out of my inventory. This will be using the arrow. It did 9 hearts of damage. This is also thanks to a data pack that will be in the description. You have to put it both in the data pack slot and in your resource pack slot. So now, let's use the arrow of harming. How much difference is it with only just infinity on it? 10. The potion of harming, one of the few arrows that actually have or are supposed to have a lasting effect with the arrow, doesn't even do that much better. It's a 1 point difference. I'm sorry, Mojang, but you genuinely need to buff these arrows in both Java and Bedrock. And now we get to the fun part. In Bedrock Edition, how you obtain these arrows are way simpler. Alright guys, so here we are in Bedrock Edition. Jesus Christ, it's been a while since I've played this mode. So this is just a random world I made. So here we have a cauldron, some arrows, and now let's just grab a random potion. Let's just grab fire resistance. All you have to do is take your potion, fill it up 3 times, and now just tip your arrows. So now let's change this to survival. In one swoop, I just got 5. Alright, so here we have a full cauldron. So now let's get rid of this. Now let's go into survival. With a full cauldron and a full stack of arrows, it just takes up the entire thing. I just got an entire stack for a simple 3 bottles of fire resistance. So quite literally, in Bedrock, all you have to do is just brew the potion, find a cauldron, and you can just get a stack of arrows just for brewing the potion itself. Because odds are, you're always going to be having 3 bottles of water in there. So, Mojang, please change this in Java Edition. Anyway, that's all for this video. Subscribe if you also think that these arrows are useless. And I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace out.